The following is an exclusive presentation of Jessup Broadcasting, the sports leader in Southeast Georgia.
World famous. The world famous Butch and Bob Show.
It is now time for the world-famous Butch and Bob Show right here on WIFO-FM in Jessup. And zooming in from Atlanta is State Representative Bill Werkheiser. Bob, take it away.
Bill, how you doing today? Bill, you there?
Did Bill go away?
Hello?
Bill went away. There, he's coming back. Bill, are you there? Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO. I see him on the stream. I see his name there. So usually when I see his name and his picture on there, he's here. There he is. There's Bill.
Hey.
Hey, Bill.
Okay, we got him now. Bill, how you doing today?
Doing good. How about y'all?
Doing good. We just had the local news and the big story again. The voter changes, changing the voting system seems to be broad support for the voter ID. So just want to get your thoughts on what's taking place. Again, all this is going to be debated, but what do you think will pass and what won't pass?
So, yeah, that's the big story here every day, and got a ton of protesters, and we have to walk through that every day. But that's their right. This is America. So what's going to pass is, yes, we will have some type of voter ID. More than likely, it's going to be using our driver's license. On absentees, that's the big change, which I don't know why that should not be controversial. We have to have an ID whether we go into the library to check out a book, if you buy a single beer, you just got to have an ID for all sorts of things, and you certainly have to have it if you vote in person. So I don't know why you wouldn't have to have it to get an absentee ballot. So I don't know why that's controversial.
Well, most people's ID is the driver's license, and it says in the report about 3% of registered voters don't have a license of a state ID number. So what do you tell those people that don't have that? What do they do?
That we will give you one free, and they've got the same problem. And it doesn't have to be a voter ID, and I think technology is about to change here again. I may lose you for a second. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
We got you,
Okay.
Bill.
So I don't know how that's any different than now. If you voted last year, you had the same problem. So, and the state's going to be willing to give you a free ID. We've already set that up with DDS, so that should not be a problem.
So how they get it? Like I said, that's the question. They're going to get it mailed to them? Do they go somewhere to pick it up, or
it will be through DDS. So more than likely, the same process that you would go through your local office. Your local. I know in Glenville we go to Reedsville. I guess it's probably got a wherever you usually go to get your driver's license.
Hinesville or Waycross or Brunswick.
There you go.
Right. So they're also considering legislation to end no excuse absentee voting. You think that's going to pass? And explain again what that is.
Has zero chance.
Zero chance. Is that the one where the lieutenant governor walked off the floor and went to his office?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
How about limit Sunday voting? Is that going to pass?
More than likely.
That's not a thing here in Wayne County. I've never seen us vote on Sundays, but a lot of churches, I understand, do that. Is that the story in Atlanta? Is that what they're arguing about?
Yeah, it's called Souls to the Polls. There's massive where they get buses and they go to take people to the polls. If the other party were to do that, they would scream like a separation of church and state. But and we're not so the false narrative there, because I have to explain this to people every day. We're not eliminating Sunday voting. We are, number one, Sunday voting was never in law, and we allowed a weekend day And so we're going to codify that. So again, not restricting anything that's currently there. And we're going to allow the locals to choose either a Saturday or a Sunday. So we're not taking away anything that's currently in law, but it's going to be in statute, and it's going to be well defined when that day is.
I'm just curious, though, like I said, it doesn't take place down here that I know of, but up there in Atlanta, are they voting every Sunday? Is there just one Sunday they vote, or what's the process up there? Why is it so controversial?
That's a good question, because up here they're doing things that, for example, they even had mobile voting precincts, which are, they're screaming at us, that are illegal, and they had buses riding around picking up people and voting, which we're going to lock that down too. That's one of the other changes, is that if you vote outside your precinct, it will not count, because that is true voter suppression, because you may be voting at the top of the ticket, but you're not voting other people in your area. I think the example I gave before, if you vote, and if Stephen Meeks is your representative and you go to my precinct and vote, he won't be on your ballot, and you can't vote for me. So, there you go, because you'd have to vote on a provisional ballot. So, again, a lot of these measures are just common sense, cleaning up stuff where people have stretched the rules. Nowhere is there any kind of voter suppression. One of the things that I know that, Bob, that you've talked about a lot is the length of early voting. Our locals are having to pay for this. And as y'all report the numbers almost every day, or at least weekly, and the first few weeks are dismal, and we're up to 6, 7, and 8 weeks of early voting. We're going to get it down to 4. If you can't find a time to early vote in a month, the problem is not the state. The problem may be you. And if you say, well, my schedule, I work late, early, we'll get an absentee.
Yeah, we said all the time, small counties like us, it's very expensive, especially in runoffs with hardly anybody's. It's like a trickle, but they're down there all day.
Yeah.
But like you said, it seems common sense, but like I said, you got people up there protesting. Is the message just not getting out clearly, or is it just a political thing where they're just going to fight everything that's being proposed?
A little bit of both. The Stacey Abrams group, Fair Fight, has got more millions than you can, and it's hard to even know what that number is because it's not disclosed, and we've got a bill to work on that too. So there's so much dark money coming in, which means it's not disclosed like it is if you give to, a local candidate. And so they've just got unlimited money, and they're messaging that we're suppressing, black votes. That's the chant we heard yesterday. And I'm thinking, I don't know how you twist that kind of narrative, because like, say going from 8 weeks to 4 weeks, how does that have anything to do with the color of your skin? I mean, I don't get it. And so they've got there's a lot of money being thrown at, and now they're putting pressure on the big business groups, which generally support the Republican Party. And so now we've got a little deal going with the Georgia Chamber, and who always comes to us for incentives and tax breaks, and they've got a decision to make.
If you're just joining us, Bill Workhouser on the phone with us from Atlanta, up there at the General Assembly. Another proposal is restricted drop boxes. What does that mean? What are is that where people just drop the votes in the box outside the precinct? Or tell us about that.
And again, that is something that is not in code, but we are in the middle of a pandemic. People didn't want to get out of their cars, so we allowed it, but we can't have unlimited, unsecured drop boxes. So, I feel like there was a compromise. Instead of saying following the law, we said we're going to put into law what a drop box is, and if you're going to have one, it's going to be at a precinct location where it can be watched 24 hours, and it is not going to be available except during precinct hours. And sans a pandemic, there's no reason for one. You just walk 10 more feet and turn it into the precinct. So remember, a lot of these things, the pandemic was given as an excuse to do things, and we allowed it, but they are not in code, so technically you could say they're illegal.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, a lot of this is common sense, especially the ID number. It would become a new way to verify the absentee voters. And currently, under existing law, workers they have to compare the handwriting signatures with voter signatures kept on file. So that seems like a difficult thing to do, to look at two different signatures and verify whether or not those are the exact signatures of the same person. So it would seem like the ID number would be a new way. I mean, like I said, it seems like it's common sense. I don't understand why it's such a controversial issue, but that's the way politics works up there in Atlanta and all across the nation. So, but like I said, it seems like it's just common sense legislation.
So the Republican Party is so far behind in money because most of our money comes from our local folks who support us and want to see our ideas. There is a Georgia Democratic Party, but it's funded mostly by New York and California. So we've got a bill that is
Bill, you there? I think it might have dropped. No, there it is. Go ahead. Bill, you're skipping out.
I just entered the parking lot. Hold on.
All right. Sounds like you're busy there.
Okay.
Tell us when you're ready to get started. You're listening to the world-famous Butch and Bob Show right here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jessup. On the phone with us right now is State Representative Bill Werkheiser. You got it worked out, Bill? Nope, not yet.
Hey.
All right. He sounds like you're going in and out of a vehicle. You said you're in a parking lot now. What's going on? Bill?
Yeah. So trying to get crossover and go to a different meeting.
Okay. I know you're trying to get the meetings while you're talking to us. Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, Bill.
Okay. So we've got a bill that it couldn't be any more even. It creates 4 packs where the money is all disclosed, and it's one for the governor, one for the governor's nominee, one for lieutenant governor nominee, and then the House majority party, House minority, Senate majority. So 4 each, okay? Well, the Dems have locked down against it in committee, and they'll lock down against it on the floor. And you're thinking, why? It can't be any more even. Well, they know they can outraise us in out-of-state money that's not properly recorded through the campaign finance laws. So they've locked down against it, and they don't want something that's even and fair, which is ironic, isn't it? Since we just talked about the elections bill, so it's crazy.
Well, let's talk about some good news. The good news is the legislative session continues. Last year at this time, everything was shut down. The numbers continue to go well. The governor's rolled out more proposals. People now 55 and over and have medical conditions can get the vaccine. But talking to Blake Tiller yesterday and Steve Meeks Monday, the big question is the supply. So do you see the supply being available for those that want the vaccine, or how's that working?
Yeah, so it's getting better.
It sounds like you're underwater talking, Bill. Bill, it sounds like you're underwater talking. Did we lose Bill altogether here? He's going in and out of his vehicle in a parking garage, trying to get to a meeting, talking to us. And, you get inside around those buildings in downtown Atlanta, especially in the parking garage, and sometimes these cell phone signals. And this is actually Zoom right here. His internet service must be falling out. Bill, you back with us yet?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, I'm clear now.
Yeah, you sound like you're in a parking garage or something.
So what was your last question?
The good news about the supply for the COVID vaccine. Like I said, they're allowing more people to get it. The question is the supply available for those that wanted to get it?
So the answer is not yet, but we're getting closer every day. When we were doing the 1A1 before it was expanded, we were so far behind. Now, and that's why we added the groups, because the supply is getting better every week. So everything I can up here is better.
Bill, I think we may have to end this conversation because where you're walking right now, apparently there's your phone's having trouble keeping locked in. So, Bill?
Yeah.
Your phone conversation continues to keep going in and out. Your Zoom, apparently your phone's... Because you're moving through all those buildings there in Atlanta.
Hey,
it sounds like you're not in a building.
Outside.
You're outside. It sounds like an echo there.
I'm actually outside.
Wow. Okay.
So,
go ahead and talk. All right, we're going to stop the conversation here because it's really bad.
We'll just have to check with your Wednesday.
Bill, we appreciate you zooming in this morning, and we'll be back with you next Wednesday morning with Wednesdays with Werkheiser, and we do appreciate it. And I know you got that meeting to get to, so have a great day. Happy St. Patrick's Day. All right, 824 Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO. You know, you get in those buildings in downtown Atlanta where, he's getting ready to go in the Capitol and all that kind of stuff. But at one moment there, when he got it sounded like he got out of his car and he was in a parking garage because you had a major echo there, but he might have stood outside.
I thought we had to expand broadband in rural Georgia. It looks like they need broadband better service up there.
Well, it just plays havoc with those buildings up there. So, but him moving... from point to point and all that kind of stuff like that, and his phone trying to lock in on the signal and all that. But State Representative Bill Werkheiser with us this morning on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show with Wednesdays with Werkheiser. Interesting comments he had there about the election process and all that. And we'll look forward to talking to him next week about it. Some things I knew, some things I didn't know, and it's just eye-opening, isn't it? Woo!
A lot of debate, a lot of protest up there, so we'll see how it plays out. So what kind of, I said it's been the main focus of the legislature because everybody's hoping that something's done. The question is, what can they get passed into law between now and the end of the session, which is in 2 weeks, because the debates continue and I said the protests continue, the accusation continue that they're trying to suppress votes. So it'll be interesting to see how they come together and what the final bill is that passes before the next election. Yeah. So it's interesting to watch, and we'll continue to follow it with our 3 local representatives who, again, we appreciate taking time out of their busy schedule, call in every week.
All right, Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO 105.5 FM in Jessup. I know the question I received yesterday is when's the decision going to be done by the grievance board there on the grievance hearing with Mike Lane. And you said maybe sometime today or tomorrow?
They got 3 days.
They have 3 days.
As soon as we find out from them when it's going to be, I have no idea. But like I said,
but they have 3 days to make that.
The employee handbook says after the hearing they have 3 days, which is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I think sometime between Thursday and Friday, and that's the time frame. It could come earlier. As soon as we get it, we'll have it here on the local news. But right now, we don't have any definite time frame.
Right.
Haven't had any
they've got a lot of evidence to go over there. A lot of testimony.
I think they said before they left that building Monday is they just want to take the time. I mean, they got bombarded with all that testimony. They got all kinds of documents they were given. Plus, they got some CD that they need to listen to. So everyone wants to go home and try to process all that before, like I said, it's a...
Yeah, you want to process it. You're talking about a person's life here.
Exactly. It's an important decision. They don't want to rush into it. They want to make sure, they got all the information, all the facts, and they want to, go home and go through it and then come back and make a decision. So as soon as we find out when the decision is, we'll have it for it here right on the local news. So,
okay.
Could come in any time this week.
Could this afternoon. Could come tomorrow.
Right.
It'll be as late as Friday morning. So we'll see. I know they take their position there on that board very seriously, and they want to make sure they make the right decision. Lots of testimony, a lot of documents to go over. You want to let the emotion of the moment pass by a couple of days, and then go through all the facts and then make a decision.
It's a tough board to be on.
I know that is a tough board. Woo.
Both attorneys, during a break, they asked them, what did you do to get on this board.
Volunteered. All these boards out there, so many boards in the city and the county, and they're all volunteer. Yeah, people volunteer to be on certain boards. You don't get paid for it. You just do it out of sense of community service.
It's kind of, like I said, it's kind of like a mini trial, but, watching those board members, they did a good job of sitting there listening. I saw a lot of them taking notes. I mean, they were engaged in the process, so I know they take their job seriously as their committee appointment, so
right.
I'm sure they'll come up with whatever they think's the right decision.
Okay.
But as soon as they do, we'll have it for you here on the local news. And we do have the superintendent coming in, not this Friday, but next Friday. So looking forward
Friday week, the new
Friday
school
week,
superintendent.
Dr. Sean Kelly, talked to him yesterday. So, again, like I said, he's been here the whole month working with Jay. Jay's about to walk out the door, going to get him in before he retires as well. But we got Dr. Sean Kelly coming in a week from Friday, so look forward to that. And I think Hosses was expected, but they called late yesterday and said they couldn't make it.
Couldn't make it this morning. All right. Anything else going on, Bob?
Good baseball win last night.
Way to go, Wayne County varsity baseball team.
Pierce County, a very good baseball team, had an 11-game winning streak coming in, but Tyler Dennison and Zach Thomas shut them down, and Luke Boykin and Blake Brockton went back-to-back home runs, so a lot of excitement.
6-3, wasn't it?
6-3
Wayne
final.
County over Pierce.
Yeah, and next game's Thursday, but forecast isn't looking good, but play it by ear. But
tomorrow's forecast looks really rough. I mean, really rough. I mean, not only rain, but wind with gusts up to 30 miles an hour. They have that front going through Louisiana right now. I was on Fox News this morning where they're having some tornadoes and stuff over there. And it'll get to us by tomorrow. It'll be weakened some. But we're still going to get 80% chance of rain. Windy, breezy, maybe gusts of winds up to 30 miles an hour possibly.
Works out good if it does rain out, because there's a men's golf association meeting Thursday night. It's indoors. Plus they provide a steak dinner. So.
It's always about the food, Bob.
Plus the golf team's going to be there. So it may work out in my favor.
Well, just looking at the forecast, I think you'll make it to that golf meeting, Bob.
That sounds good.
All right, Bob, have a good day.
Okay.
All right, the world-famous Butch and Bob Show brought to you by O'Quinn & Associates, Country Financial, and Damon's Famous Fingers and Wings, Murphy Builder Supply in First Southern Bank.
The world famous Butch and Bob Show.